So my group and I we try to play D&D every Wednesday, and we have a kind of a wide-ranging number of folks who are in our group. And last Wednesday, I made the joke, so has there been any drama in D&D lately? And so this is an interesting point, I think, for folks who have been sort of paying attention to this open gaming license controversy and kind of the overall gaming community. Just a complete and total anecdote. I knew about it, and one of my other buddies knew about it. Three of my friends didn't have any idea what we were talking about, just showing up to play D&D. So it's interesting. So the controversy is about the open gaming license and a leak for a version of that license, which would have upended some of the third-party creators' ability to use the rules of D&D to create their own content and make money off of it. And there was a lot of details in there, legalese, stuff that may or may not pass muster in a court of law, even stuff according to legal in the original OGL, which may or may not pass muster in a court of law. I'm not a lawyer, I have no idea. But it was just interesting to me that, following it, seeing what the backlash was, seeing how most people who are somewhat kind of tuned in to what D&D is up to, or what Wizards of the Coast are up to with regards to the future of Dungeons & Dragons, kind of what that reaction was like. For the vast majority of the folks that just play D&D, I don't think it was going to change a whole lot. That being said, the current campaign we're running is a campaign that was written by a third-party creator. And I look around at my stuff, which is now moved over there. I've got a lot of core D&D rulebooks and some adventures, but the only adventure that I've ever run that has been a written adventure is that I've ever ran, which has been a written adventure, is Lost Mine of Phandelver. That's it, the starter set. I bought several of them. I've never, of the published adventures, I've never actually ran a published adventure, which is kind of interesting. I've done a lot of my own homebrews, so I guess the big rub there was for people that create like their own worlds using 5th edition rules or their own supplements. The leaked version was causing some serious consternation because it injected things like maybe Wizards of the Coast might own your content. Maybe they might dip into the money that you're making off of it. And so, which is sort of a big about face from where everybody who's been operating in good faith, making this third-party stuff, following the rules, not saying that it's a D&D product, but it is a product for the world's most popular role-playing game, perhaps, or for a RPG that uses 5th edition rules. I mean, all these sort of kind of really weird workarounds, because everybody knows you're talking about D&D anyways. Anyway, they were following the rules, making their content, everybody's buying their stuff, really getting good stuff out of it, good use. And, there's a ton of creators out there that are maybe not making a ton of money, but they're making a living off of supporting the hobby. And so the earthquake happened, and it really rattled that group of people. And then there was a subgroup of folks, like one of my friends at the table, who doesn't create anything, but he just wants to be sort of commiserate with that group and be a part of kind of helping send the signal that Wizards was going the wrong direction there. Fast forward a few days, and now the other problem that they had was the radio silence between dropping this leak, or when this leak happened, and when the supposed updates were going to take place. Big gap of just radio silence. And what happens in silence? People's imaginations get to run wild. Catastrophic thinking gets engaged. Worst case scenarios become the probability. And, it just is a bad thing from a PR perspective and a customer service perspective. Now that they've They've really walked it back. Wizards of the Coast has really walked back this what was in the leak. And I think the latest, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not tracking this daily either, is that they're going to try to use kind of how they do, how they roll out playtest material and new ideas. They want feedback from the community before they make any decisions. And I believe the latest is they're going to maybe kind of outsource the whole licensing construct to the common gaming license. Is that what it's called? Forgive me. Not only am I not a lawyer, I'm definitely not a patent lawyer. So, Creative Commons, I think is what it is, which would, I think, assuage a lot of people who are worried about kind of where this was going to go and what this might do to their ability to create. Wizards of the Coast, the Dungeons and Dragons game has exploded in popularity in large measure from what third-party content creators and gamers, Critical Role folks, their impact has been astronomical. They've made a lot of money off of it, but their impact to the overall bottom line, people buying core rule books and subscribing to D&D Beyond, surely there's a big correlation between their popularity and the increase in those people that are spending money on D&D, specifically branded D&D stuff that goes to that bottom line. So I don't know the numbers there, just complete conjecture, but I gotta believe if you looked into the data, there's got to be a pretty strong correlation. And then all of the other D&D podcasts that are out there, making it even more popular. All the cool third-party. I bought a third-party book from Target that was just a big book of NPCs, which was really well done. I have one small experience. I did create a kind of a tracker for frankly for use in D&D. Again, you couldn't say that it was for use in D&D according to the terms of the license, which is still silly to me. Of course, I'm obviously not representing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm making a product that for people that might get some use out of it in their game of Dungeons and Dragons. So I put it out on DriveThruRPG, and I think I gave it out for free. I think maybe 100 copies have been exchanged. I put a little bit of dollars, a couple of dollars on there, and I made, I don't know, $5-6 maybe. I have to look and see. It's obviously not something that I'm too dialed into, but I do know that when I attached the license to the document, I think the license was bigger than what I created. So it's cumbersome, needless to say. But again, just trying to follow the rules and do the right thing. So that's my 2 cents. I think probably at the end of the day, there's been some goodwill lost, but the anecdote from my gaming table was we're all still having a lot of fun playing Dungeons and Dragons, and maybe in a couple of months, once all the dust settles, people kind of walk it back, take some breaths. Hopefully Wizards of the Coast also learned a lesson about, things that the road to hell being paved with good intentions potentially, or even, who knows what the underlying business motivation was for them to kind of rattle that OGL cage. But rattled it they did, and I think they didn't realize there were hornets' nests in there that went crazy. So, and for good reason. People's livelihoods are on the line. It's going to take it pretty seriously. So I think there's been a hit to the brand. Time is an ally. So sometimes in hindsight, 10 years from now, will people even recall this? 5 years from now, 1 year from now? Yeah, probably 1 year from now. But as it goes further out, we'll see. I don't think the hobby's going anywhere anytime soon. It's such a fun game. And remember, you can play any edition you want to play. You don't have to move to one D&D if you don't want to. You can still play 5th edition. All the rule books aren't going to magically disappear. You can play advanced D&D if you want to. I'm pointing to my books. If you want to go, if you can scrounge around and get a copy of the original Advanced D&D Playbook, Player's Handbook. You can build characters using this if you want, and use THAC0, or THAC0 to be more specific, but THAC0 is colloquially the term for 2-hit armor class 0. You can do that. It's up to you. It's your table, your game, your friends, and I think that's the key. So that's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. I don't really have a lot to add to it other than just that perspective from the fact that some of us knew about it, some of us didn't, and we all showed up and had a great game of Dungeons & Dragons last Wednesday. So, great to see you guys. We'll talk to you soon.